This is Dwight Peters from quarterwaters.com, the site for social entrepreneurs, where social entrepreneurs come on the program. They talk about the issues they're tackling, the impact they're making, and share helpful business tips along the way. If you are watching this program, it's because you want to change the world. You came to the right spot. Now, on the program with us today, we have a good friend of mine, Brent Freeman, and he is the founder of Roozt. We're going to find out what Roozt is, how they built it up, and the good question is, why did Roozt turn down $1 million? Brent, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Dwight. Thanks for having me, man. It's an honor to be on your program and be chatting with your viewers.
Man, it's a long time coming, man. I met you a couple of months through a colleague of mine, and you know, ever since I met you, you've been such a cool dude, man, willing to help. So I know that my viewers are going to get a lot out of this interview here. But Brent, the opening up question: why did you guys turn down $1 million? I'm not even going to get into what Roozt is yet. I just want to know what mindset you have to be in as an entrepreneur to turn down $1 million.
I think that is, the $1 million question, right?
Yeah.
The truth is, it's not as cut and dry as it always seems to be. It wasn't just, hey, on a Wednesday, here's $1 million, will you take it? And Thursday, no.
Yeah.
In the finance world of entrepreneurship, you're presented with a series of challenges, questions, and soul-searching moments. And at the end of the day, this scenario, we had a $1 million term sheet on the table. This scenario was one that we tried to force through for too long, and then really had this soul-searching moment where we just said, you know what, enough is enough. These are not people that are buying into what we're doing for why we're doing it, and it's not going to work out. And the truth of the matter is that it probably was best for both parties. And at the end of the day, when you take investors onto a business, you get married. It's like family, and then some, right? There's no divorce.
Yeah.
And so when you take people in, you have to make sure that they believe in you, believe in your vision. And Roozt, we'll get into that in a moment. Roozt is not just another social media app company where we want to build, grow, flip. At the end of the day, we're all entrepreneurs, and in this, to do, make shareholder profit and social return with what we're doing. But at the end of the day, man, we started Roozt to do something different.
Yeah.
Passionately prove to people that you can make a difference and a profit. And these investors, they were just aligned with the profit side. They could care two shits about giving the difference. So it wasn't the right fit, probably on both sides of the table.
The reason why I asked you that is because, I just wanted you to really highlight what you did, how important it is to stay to your car. Just stay to the main goal of what you were trying to accomplish, and not switch or not change or not to sell out just because a large sum of money is put on the table. And like you said, looking down, it was a better decision not to go with it.
Yeah, no doubt, man. All you have in life is a few things. You have your family, you have your moral compass, and you have your integrity. Yeah. And the moment you compromise any of those, for what good? Yeah. And I'm not a story, and Roozt, and my story is before we even got to Roozt, the pendulum swung far the other way. I went and chased the money and did all that, and it was crazy, and thought I lived the dream, and at a very young age, and realized and learned that lesson that I just said very early on firsthand. Money is important, very important, of course. You need to feed your family. It's a good thing to make money and support your family and all that, but it's not the means to all ends. And I just really felt that with Roozt, we started out to do something different in the first place. We started out to prove to people that you can start a business that your team members show up every day to work and are excited to be there. Yeah. You can start a business that makes an impact in your community, with humanity, and in your environment. And we knew getting into this, it wouldn't be easy.
With it. So
Yeah,
let's catch our viewers up now. What is Roozt? If you had to
sure.
explain it.
Well, I'll start. Let's start and go backwards.
All
What
right,
is
cool.
Roots today, and how did we get here? Probably is a better way to kind of chat about it.
All right.
Roost today is the world's online marketplace for the sexiest cause-related brands. And, right, and what that means is that we are the premier destination for the coolest companies making a difference in the world for you to come online, discover all those products under one roof, shop for multiple brands in one purchase, and then share with your friends and get rewards. And so this ecosystem of shopping, of really curating the discovery of the dopest socially conscious brands out there,
Yeah.
streamlining that process by putting them all on one roof and allowing you not have to like scour blogs and go and scrape, sites and hope you see it on your friend's wrist or whatever. And then share with your friends, incentivize people to be viral, and give them rewards. We actually give people points and discounts off future purchases every time they share with their friends. And so Roost today really is that premier destination. And on the backside, we actually provide turnkey free storefronts for our brands. So if you think what Etsy has done for the arts and crafts world,
Yeah.
Roost is done for social entrepreneurs.
All right, so now let's build up. How did we get to this?
Yeah.
Bring us back to the beginning, earlier thoughts. What was, here we go. How did the idea even come into existence to create something like this?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a lot of times people see and they look at businesses and they're like, man, these people came out of nowhere and it just happened overnight. And that's just not the case. We've been at this for 3 years in various forms, knowing that we weren't perfect in what we were doing, but that it was better to make some progress than to be perfect.
Yeah.
So 3 years ago, my business partners and I came together out of frustration. And we had one was my best friend, one was a longtime family mentor and entrepreneur. And we were just talking about the state of the affairs in the world during January of '09, worst economic time, the Great Depression. And we really felt as if, and a lot of times when you hear this next saying, it means for entrepreneurs there's opportunity. We really felt as if it didn't have to be like that.
Yeah.
And we really felt that even though there was, fire and brimstone on the news every day,
Yeah.
we felt that there was actually opportunity out there for entrepreneurs to look at the world, see a paradigm shift happening in front of our face, recognize what it is, and then do the hard thing and go try to, make
Address it. Yeah.
and execute it. Yeah, ideas are great, but it's execution that makes a difference. And so what we did is we set out in January of '09 on a journey that has lasted us until we launched our new site last week. Yeah. And it started with a series of feasibility sites. So we saw two pains in the marketplace. We saw that there were literally thousands of socially conscious brands in the U.S. with great stories and inspiring missions to tell. Mm-hmm. But they lacked an online place to do so. eBay doesn't provide a platform for that. Amazon is just the world's biggest mall, yeah. And Etsy is for arts and crafts people. But there was no home for social entrepreneurs. Then on the flip side of the coin, I'm 26, right? So I saw my friends in the millennial generation buying from companies like Tom Shoes, yeah. Wanting to buy from companies that made a difference but also had great products. And so we saw a shift in consumer behavior. And now the reason all that's important is because the shift in consumer behavior for us meant that when consumers shift behavior, more and more companies and brands will be likely to adapt to that. So yeah. when shoppers are saying, hey, I only want to buy from socially conscious brands, or 85% is the actual statistic. I think it's 85% of Gen Y would buy from a cause-oriented brand when presented with two equal brands. So when you have that, And you have more and more brands wanting to be socially responsible, and more big companies, Pepsi, Refresh, doing the Refresh Everything campaign, right? You have Toyota, 100 Cars for Good. You have the Chase grant foundation that they had done and given away. So you start to see bigger brands adapted to this. And for us, we knew that there was an opportunity to somewhere in the middle create a connection point that allowed customers and brands to connect in a mainstream way. Because that was really important to us, is that we always felt that we could bring sexy back to giving back.
Yeah.
And we didn't see that out there, to make it in a mainstream way. So it wasn't just, you know, the far left granola crowd or the far right this crowd. It was like mainstream America, mainstream shoppers, people like you and I could go and look good and feel good.
And do good.
And do good. I mean, that was the whole idea, man. And so what did we do to start? We had no effing clue.
I got to share with my viewers just this a little bit, man. You and I, we've been conversing via email, and I was telling you about a few ideas that I had. And you sent me an email saying, dude, don't overthink it, just get to it. You know, you could sit around all you want trying to think it out and get it perfect in your head, but if you're not doing it, you're not going to get anything done. So I know that's the same approach that you guys had to take. What was your first step? What was your background first? Before we even get to that, what was your background?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I grew up in San Francisco Bay Area. I lost my mom to cancer when I was 6, and always instilled in me a really strong value that every day is a gift. My dad, who raised me, got me married to an amazing woman who became a mentor, and you know, always told me, follow your heart and the money will come.
Yeah.
And then fast forward a little bit is that I went to college down at University of Southern California here in LA, and couldn't afford it. So put myself through school with my folks helping with wherever they could, but student loans and grants and waiting a lot of tables, a lot of dirty dishes, and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I didn't know. I wasn't that like, oh, I'm going to be a social entrepreneur. I wasn't even like, oh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I just kind of like tried some things that failed, some consulting businesses that didn't work, and then the only thing that I knew that I was passionate about was actually going to Italy. My mom was Italian, and I wanted to learn to speak the language and meet my family. So I did that. I studied abroad in '06. And changed my life, changed my perspective. I accomplished a goal, which was very important. Achieving milestones, I think, in your life are big moments. And then it was like, what's next?
Yeah.
So when I got back to SC, I got really involved with the Entrepreneur Program and bringing speakers in. And actually, we brought the founder of Tom Shoes in when he had just started in fall of '06, and I believe featured in LA Times and was on his upward rise, and that always inspired me.
Yeah.
But then I came to the realization of, shit, I have to graduate, and I have student loans.
Yeah. Being a student is not a full-time career, should it be?
Okay.
Yeah.
So we would like it to be at the time.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, well, what do I do next? And so I got actually, and you know, I openly talk about this. I got swept up in the hustle to make as much money as quick as possible.
Yeah.
And I got away from the core of how I was raised and what I believed in and what was important to me, because I was blindsided by potentially windfall profits. I started a commodities business with my best friend at the time in college, and we ran that for 2 years, had an office in Dubai and in LA, and chased the money pretty hard. And then at the age of 23, closed what I thought would be the pinnacle of my career and make me a millionaire and take me on to the next level. It was a $10 million deal, and we celebrated with a $5,000 dinner that night. Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But what really resonated in my aha moment was that was meant to be the pinnacle that I was working for, and I was trying to be like all these other guys that had the fancy cars and houses and watches. But when we got to that moment, I was really unfulfilled. It was empty, completely empty. And for a lot of reasons. But then I really started looking around and looking at these guys that I was trying to emulate and be like. They also were empty, and they were just on this perpetual chasing their tails. And they had the money, they had the monetary things and the material things. But what they didn't have was happiness.
That fulfillment.
That fulfillment. And I just had this really crazy aha moment in my life where I was like, what am I doing here? Why am I here? What's my purpose? And then the stock markets collapsed. The global financial crisis hit Dubai really hard. And our business, the business model was based off of credit and international construction. And there was neither in the market. And so we almost sold the company, and that didn't work. And then in December and January, early January of '09, I decided to walk away. Instead of jumping further and try to go work for another trading company or go raise money for it, we literally, me and my business partner said, man, that was great, but let's pack the shop. Took a little money that we had made, certainly not the windfall profits, and said, what's next? Why are we here? Let's do something that we're passionate about. And I made the commitment and pledge to myself that the next venture that I would do would be one where I was focused on something I was incredibly passionate about. And I knew it would be hard, but I knew that if we could be successful with what we're doing with Roozt, we could empower and inspire other social entrepreneurs to be successful and change the world. And so we harness every purchase to make a difference on our platform. We teach social entrepreneurship to urban kids with the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship, low-income students, and we also donate a portion of every purchase to Pencils of Promise made on the site. But the truth of the matter is, it's a ripple effect that we're after, right?
I want to get into that because I really want to focus on the impact. But let's bring it back now. So you felt unfulfilled. You guys start Roozt. Because I know you guys just have a kick-ass story. What was the first move now? So you know what you want to do now. You have a clear understanding that whatever you do next is going to have a social impact. Why this site, and how did you get it going? And I know there was several reiterations of the site. You guys had the site, you guys relaunched it. Let's go through that part. So what was the first site looking like, and how did you guys build it up? What was the first move?
The first move was we knew we wanted to support socially conscious businesses. So we identified the market, and we said we had a hunch that we thought there would be enough out there. And there's literally tens of thousands. And so we said, all right, well, what can we do? What's a business around that? What if, and honestly, the first thing we did was say, what if we created a gift card? Right? And we called it, gift cards for humanity. And only those gift cards were good for the socially conscious businesses. And what that did is that it wasn't a perfect idea. We didn't end up going with it, but it allowed us to take an idea and start doing research. Take a concept and start doing a feasibility study. Does this make sense? Do we want to be in this business? If, yes, no, that kind of stuff. It turned out, no, we didn't want to be in that business. And so what we did is we said, well, what can we do next? What if we created an e-commerce site that just sold these products? And the first site that we created was based off of Dreamweaver and Amazon widgets integrated in under a really terrible name called Mark's Movement, which stood for Moral and Responsible Companies, MARC. I got called Mark like every day, right? And one of my best friend's parents still call me Mark, and it's just it just didn't work. But we tried a lot of things.
What failed?
What's that?
What failed? Why didn't it work? Now that you could look back,
well, we were trying to do it too. We were trying to do too much. We tried to do research, ratings, retail, discounting, donations, everything, and it was too confusing. But we knew that from this, we got a little bit of traction and positive response and market validation that we could build on it. We said, well, this doesn't quite work. And we didn't want to link out to Amazon because we didn't control customer experience. So we said, well, we need to build our own e-commerce site. How do we do that? So we started that process, started talking to a lot of people, found a developer, built our own, started drop shipping some items from big brands like Sony down to very small companies that had just launched and saying, here's their CSR practices, right? Here's their corporate social responsibility practices, and here's how you can buy. So we wanted to connect the dots between content and commerce. But very quickly realized that we didn't make a difference for these big brands, and that's not who we wanted to champion anyways. So we said, well, what if we just focused on the small and medium-sized companies that really needed our help and ability to spread the word? And simultaneously, during the daytime, I was working at a media company, learning how to monetize the internet, draw traffic, do customer acquisition, those sorts of things. With the new site that we had built, we started to get a little bit of traction. And with that little bit of traction, we said, well, there's a better way to do this. Just logistically and uploading all the information and managing all that stuff was kind of a nightmare for us. And we didn't have money. We started this whole thing with, I think, $5,000. So we said, well, how can we have this vision to create like an Etsy style platform, a marketplace platform that democratizes e-commerce for socially conscious brands, what we call cause-oriented brands, while simultaneously connecting them with consumers. But how do we get there? The market is emerging. We don't know if people are going to buy it in mass. We don't have any money to build it out. We don't have the technical expertise. So what's the next stepping stone? And the next stepping stone for us was, we said, well, what if we did flash sales? This was in 2010. What if we did flash sales, daily deals, the right way, do it for limited time, limited quantity, work with the brands, exclusively for cause-oriented companies. Let's see if we can build customer base. Let's see if we can build brands, relationships, and get some press buzz. And let's take 6 months and give it a go. If we can get that, we will start building the bigger platform and go and raise the money and do all that. Month one of the Daily Deal platform, we had about 300 members. At the end of that first month, we had about 3,000. By the end of the third month, just about 25, 30,000 people signed up. And then over that 6-month time period, about 100,000 people came and signed up for the site. People were making purchases. We were about a month or two away from being cash flow positive. Forbes featured us as a name you need to know in 2011. And we had a bunch of brands in the pipeline that we wanted to work with. But we quickly realized that deals was not the game that we wanted to be in. There was a much larger pain. Brands wanted to acquire customers, be able to have a relationship with them, understand who they are, and not just have them be a wham bam thank you man with a deal and on to the next. So that was at that 6-month time period. That's when we started the fundraising process. Getting focused, and we took all of our money, little as it was, from customer acquisition and put it into development of this new platform that we just launched. Started fundraising. As you know, that story didn't work out. We had no money in the bank, and then we had to get really focused. October of last year, shut it all down, put all of our expenses basically down to zero, put up a splash page for the new site, and said, let's get really, really focused.
And Brent, do me one favor, because you have a lot of notifications coming in. Can you just go to your preferences on Skype and go to notifications?
Yeah, no problem. Man.
Yeah, and just unclick them just for the interview.
Sorry, man. Yeah.
No problem, man.
Sit tight 1 sec. There it is. There we go. Sorry, man. Our whole company uses Skype, and we're actively developing and all that. So they're all hitting me. My bad.
I totally understand. So all right. So you guys did that 6-month run. You figured out that there's a bigger market, and there's a bigger point that you guys are trying to do than just a quick wham deal. You guys put up a coming soon page, a launch page. What was the internal work that was going on behind that? Talk about some of the investors you guys pulled in and how that worked out and why they were the perfect fit for what you were doing.
Yeah, that's great. So the internal work was about getting focused. I felt like we were a mile wide and an inch deep and weren't being effective at anything. And so it was, let's really focus on our investor documents, the pitch deck and all those things and what value we're really bringing. Let's focus on the development of the new site. And let's go find some sustainable revenue because we need immediate help right now because I think we have like $130 in the bank account.
Yeah.
All right. So we found a licensing client who helped support us and make us through to the next level. And then what happened is that we took about 30 days, got really focused with the investor stuff, and through a series of fortunate events, met a few people that we connected with and got a 15-minute meeting with Steve Schimmel, who was the 13th employee at Google. He was one of the founding business members there on that team and really helped build Google into what it is. And he and I met and just got along like brothers. He got me. He understood what we were doing, believed in it, saw it, and subsequently made an investment over the course of the next 4 to 6 weeks or so of us talking a lot more, and led an investment round that ended up being about a $250,000 investment from a lot of strategic investors that helped obviously put more blood into lifeblood into the company, and really allow us to be able to build out the platform how we wanted it, hire a few people. We're still a lean and mean team, but I can't do it all myself, so hire some rock stars who have done it before. And now, we took from January 1st until March 28th to really build out the platform and sign brands and get some exciting momentum. And then last Wednesday,
yeah,
we launched publicly. We did more revenue in the first 2 days than we did in the first month with our deal site. So very pleased.
Share with our viewers your business model. How do you guys make money off of this? Brent, you there? Brent?
Yeah, man, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. Last thing I heard was share the business model. So one of the things that I wanted to do with this platform was allow it to really be a democratized e-commerce platform for brands.
Yeah.
So we built a really, really robust e-commerce system that allows them to create stores in 20 minutes or less, run their own daily deals, create their own coupon codes, connect to Facebook and Twitter, track orders, see who customer statistics are, and then see an advanced suite of analytics visually showing who their customers are, where they're located, and making purchases across the country, and to take action on that information. And we made it free. We made it free. I wanted to make it performance-based to prove to our brands that we're in it with them, and say that if we can't bring a customer that makes a purchase, we don't deserve to be paid.
Yeah.
And so our business model is performance-based, and we take a revenue share of products sold. And for our brands, they can come on, and if they don't sell one thing in the platform, we don't make a dime. And so to that effect, because of that, we really heavily curate the products that we sell on the site, and heavily curate the companies that we invite in. Anybody can apply on the platform, but it has to reach a certain threshold of demand for consumers for us to invest in it, because we do a lot of copywriting and marketing and graphic design for all of our brands, and so we really are investing in the brands that consumers love most.
So here we go, my favorite part. Let's talk about the impact. We discussed it a little bit earlier. You were getting into it, and I wanted you to hold off a little bit until now. So let's talk about the impact that you're looking to make and that you're currently making. And nice watch. We're going to talk about the watch too in a little bit.
We would. So impact is what gets me, fired up the most. And my favorite part of the job is being able to go and mentor the kids in the classrooms that we help teach social entrepreneurship in.
Yeah.
So the impact for me is kind of threefold. And first I'll talk about the impact that our brands are having, because it's a very important thing. Obviously, every purchase you make on Roozt tells a story, and that story is unique to each of our brands. Whether they're beautiful sandals made from women in Uganda, to a wooden watch for everyone you buy that plants a tree, everywhere in between. And so all of our brands, just by purchasing from them, make a difference. But that wasn't enough for us. We said we wanted to be able to harness every purchase made on our platform to make a tangible difference in the world. We felt that if Amazon or Google or Zappos had harnessed every purchase and built it in to the cost of goods sold from the beginning, what a massive difference that could have made.
Things would have changed,
and we felt that we had an opportunity to do that. We were young, we were crazy, and saying, all right, let's do it. So a portion of every sale is harnessed to go to an impact program. Right now, we're partnered with Pencils of Promise. It's a wonderful international nonprofit based in New York that goes into developing countries and builds schools for children that need it most.
Awesome.
And yeah, they're fantastic. And so that's kind of our humanitarian effort. But we also felt that we wanted to get more involved in communities and are really passionate about education, because if you strip away all the other stuff and take Roozt away, we feel that tomorrow's leaders are today's students, right? Yeah. And so we wanted to be able to help teach social entrepreneurship, not just entrepreneurship, to kids. And so we partnered with the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship, NFTE, NFTE, also based in New York, even though we're in LA, and said, hey, we want to take one of your classrooms. They have 25,000 students or so across the US. Let me take one of your classrooms and curriculum, and you have a wonderful curriculum, but let me modify it. Yeah. I'll embed myself there for a year. Let me modify it and see what happens. I'm going to modify it through the lens of a social entrepreneur. So if we're talking about marketing, I'm going to talk about marketing through the lens of a social entrepreneur. Yeah. Or finance, how to benefit the double bottom line. And we'll make it real. This 35 student classroom, if the winner of our business plan competition of that class Roozt will actually help them incorporate and make it a real tangible thing. And what ended up happening is that a girl in our class from our 35 pilot student classroom, she ended up winning our regional or our classroom competition. We incorporated her business. Then she won the regional competition here in Greater LA. And then last October, she won the national competition.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so it was a wild success. And what we're doing now with Roozt is we're actually helping NFTE rewrite an alternative curriculum to test in some pilot classrooms to help scale outward, so that other teachers can teach the for-profit, for-difference curriculum to these kids.
Definitely, man. It's very important, man. The world's changing. The statistics that you named earlier, 85% of consumers would support a cause brand. It's no secret, that's fortune telling right there. The world is changing, and the way what we expect from companies are changing. So there's going to be a new breed of entrepreneurs, which is already happening with you and the other guests on my program. That's going to continue to carry this, man. Brent, is there any other advice you would like to leave with social entrepreneurs, man? You've been through a rocky up and down grind, man. How did you stay focused, man? Other than the belief, that, you just got to keep going and following your passion, man.
I mean, it comes down to passion, right? It really does. It really just comes down to believing in what you're doing, and having a good support system behind you, friends and family and people like you that believe in us and keep us going. That's the fuel to our fire. We know it's not going to be easy. Our road ahead is still not easy, but the idea is that we're fundamentally passionate and committed to what we're doing. And we truly believe that we're onto something. It may not be exactly how it appears today completely, but entrepreneurship is about adapting, and we're committed fundamentally down to our core to it. And so how do you push through? It just comes down to, I guess, a couple things. Progress is better than perfection. We talked about that together, and being passionate about what you're doing, believing in what you're doing, and staying focused. And I think most importantly is not being so stubborn with your concept to tell the market what to do, but rather listen to what the market's telling you.
Yeah.
And that's a hard one, and we're constantly trying to do that. And so, know when to stick to your guns of what you want to do, and then know when to make the adaptation. So, but most importantly, man, for any aspiring social entrepreneurs or social entrepreneurs in the grind right now, you are making a difference, and you have an opportunity to make an impact in this world. And nothing great was ever done by doing nothing.
Definitely, man. Brent, are we leaving anything else out? I feel like just ending it right there, because that was that, man.
No, I appreciate it, man. I really do. I want to just thank you for what you're doing, man. It's people like you in the space that are helping push things forward for all of us. And we're accessible and reachable. So if people want to reach out and hit us up on social media and Twitter or email. They're welcome to. We're pretty accessible. And thank you, Dwight, for the honor.
No problem, man. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming on the program. Ladies and gentlemen, Brent Freeman, the founder of Roozt. Thanks,
Thanks,
Brent.
guys.